So, John, this first quarter success you're having, just a great formula for winning football games.
Well, it has been, and really excited about this last game being a heavy favorite, and our guys coming out and really performing better than they ever have, put things together in every phase. So that says something about our football team.
A couple of things you overcame early on. You had a roughing the kicker call that didn't end up costing you. You missed a couple of point-after kicks that didn't end up costing you as well. Do you just kind of look at that as kind of blips on the radar at this point?
Well, the roughing the kicker, that's not, you don't do that. We practice how to block a kick and so on, and the kid just got anxious because he came through free and didn't take the right angle. The missed PAT and then going for a 2 and not getting it to try to equate, that's going to happen. There's human error. And I do think it's kind of humorous that Chase Vinatieri kicks a 51-yard field goal at the end of the game but misses a PAT. So it's a fickle game.
Talk about your special teams. I mean, that was one of the few things your special teams really didn't do right all day. Your special teams had an outstanding game against Drake.
Yeah, just the kickoff return for a touchdown. We had a couple of nice punt returns. We had one of those for a touchdown going back that he had never had to do it, didn't affect the play. Kickoff coverage was excellent. Really happy. But you know what? Going back to what I said, every phase we try to get better every week and then see the results on Saturday, and we saw it in every phase. And
then Lorenzo Williams with a blocked punt as well, which gave you a nice short field.
Did a great job. And it wasn't even a called punt. They were just coming through to set up the wall and made great effort, did what you're supposed to do, go beside the punter and put your hand out and got the block. So you never know in football what play is going to win it. In this case, it wasn't one play, but that type of effort, that type of result is going to have an impact on our games.
Taryn had a little bit of trouble at first, missing on a few of his passes. One of them was dropped early on, but he seemed to get things going. And then, of course, Jake and Dallas had their typical games as well.
I thought Taryn played a really good game. It wasn't an exciting game for him. There wasn't dynamic plays by him, but we didn't ask him to do that. We asked him to manage the game. We asked him to make a bunch of checks. I thought he did a tremendous job and continues to find ways to get better.
And then Mikey Daniel didn't have a ton of carries, but when he did carry the ball, averaging over 6 yards a carry, one of his best days running the football for you.
Yeah, he benefited in the second half of, maybe being against their twos at sometimes, but the guys blocking in front of him were our twos. So Mikey's a good football player. He waits his turn. He's patient, and when he gets an opportunity, he always goes full speed. So I was happy to see him get those yards.
He also had to be happy to see your guys get to the quarterback. I know you've been waiting to see that happen, and they got there 5 times against Drake.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. And sometimes just hitting the quarterback has an impact. And we got a couple of those early in the first half also. The biggest thing for me, and talking about getting after the quarterback or getting to the quarterback, I thought our defense played one of their best halves of football in the first half.
Logan Backus already has 2 interceptions. He was in the right place at the right time, got a nice deflection, but that really was caused by a very aggressive defense there.
Well, our corners responded. Anthony Washington tipped that ball up and really had a chance to make the interception himself, and Logan, because of hustle, and just playing the game like it's your last play, ends up with the interception. But and then the other part of that whole play is we've got a convoy in front of him. If he doesn't get tackled by the intended receiver, I think that's going to be a touchdown. So a lot of little things that you see happening on the football field when we're getting better.
You mentioned the kickoff return for a touchdown. Cade Johnson, he's got to be one of the fastest guys you've got out there.
He is. He's explosive. He's got a wiggle to him, but in the open field he can fly. And he's making the most out of his first year of eligibility, and I'm really happy with the way he's playing.
You mentioned Chase Vinatieri. Of course, we just got off of last week talking about a career long against Montana State, and of course that fake he ran in for a touchdown. Now he adds to it with a 51-yarder. Where do you see his confidence at this point, Coach?
Well, I'll tell you what he said after that kick, because he had missed the PAT, and he came over and grabbed my hand and looked me in the eye and said, "Coach, I needed that." And so I think that added to his confidence, but I do think he was a little shook up by missing the PAT. So kickers are sometimes unique guys because it all hangs on their shoulders sometimes. He's doing a good job. Yesterday, kicking with the wind, he was kicking 60-yarders, so he's got a lot of ability.
We seem to have this conversation every year, John, about the bye week and what it means and the pluses and the minuses. And obviously right now your team has such great momentum. You really would like to continue to play. But on the other point, you have a banged-up group at this stage of the game. And so I imagine the bye week is coming at a good place for you from that standpoint.
It is. I think it's perfect timing, and we've labeled it the improvement week. And so each position coach is going through his players and his group and identifying areas that we need to be better at to be champions, and they're working on that. A little bit of introducing of Youngstown, but then, like you said, we've got four really important guys that didn't play in the last game that ideally they're going to be ready for Youngstown.
We'll talk about Youngstown when we visit next week, but let's just talk about the league in general. It's one of those good news, bad news things again. Once again, the Missouri Valley is the pride of the FCS. There's no dispute. This is the number one conference in the country at the FCS level. The bad news is you got to play these guys, and of your last 8 weeks of the season, you got 5 games against teams that are in the top 25.
Yeah, it's a great league. It's great football. There's been some teams that have really made some great improvements. There's some teams like ourselves that I think are playing up to our expectations again this year. So again, it's going to be one play here, one play there that it's going to have a huge impact on these young men's seasons. So we hope we're going to be ready for it. We're looking forward to it, but it's going to be a grind.
And with the number of young kids you've got out there, John, I'm sure your veteran players are telling them, look, we don't win by an average of 28 points a game every week out. It's going to change once we get into conference play.
Yeah, they know that. They our veterans, I don't know if they always say it specifically like that, but they do push them to work hard, focus, hone their skills, and we've got great leadership in this football team. It's one of the reasons we're where we're at. So excited about continued leadership and continued progress.
When you see a first-place vote next to your name in a national poll, do you pay any attention to that?
I don't think anybody else does either. Our guys handled it, being ranked preseason higher than ever, and they said if there's a target on our back, there's high expectations, let's go to work. And I love this football team, and there was a time when we got ranked for the first time years ago that they responded almost the exact same way. It's kind of cool. It's an honor, but let's go to work.